Dun 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 dun. Hey everybody, welcome to TPIM SR Live. I'm your host, TruePowerIsMine. This just came across my desk today. Want to thank the confidential informant that sent me all the information that I'll present to you, the audience, today. Peace and power all. Thank the Most High that we're all allowed to share in this learning experience. So let's start this off proper. Welcome to the show, D. Peace and power. Remember the other day on the show, the live show, or it might have been a pre or a TPIM short that I uploaded. I said Germany was destroyed. And I got that information from the confidential informant that I've been in contact with lately. And there's more grim news on the horizon. Folks, I guess at this time, I would say go ahead and just start going off into your pretend land. No one's trying to unite. No one's trying to stop the people that are engaging with humanity and making situations occur. You guys know this virus is a bioweapon. And for those who don't know, Brother Bird, Brother King, welcome to the show. Peace and power. Mr. Alex Jones yesterday got busted for, or not yesterday, day 4, I think, DWI. And oh my God, this just never stops. Brother Smith, welcome to the show. Peace and power. It never stops, does it? This isn't even a big virus, guys. This isn't even a big one. And you already see the panic ensue. Okay, well, let's go into what you should know. All right. Right now, total confirmed cases. This is official from the Johns Hopkins website. 121,250 souls infected. For brothers in Detroit, it's an opportunity. Volunteers are offered $4,500 to be infected with coronavirus. Brother Shannon, peace and power. Welcome to the show. Let's do this, y'all. By the way, my last several...
A few years ago, I made the choice to be happy every day.
Okay, good for you.
My morning coffee ritual plays a big part.
Huh. Why do I have something in the background? Oh my God, this is just awful.
Coronavirus as
Hold on.
in great will it
Oh my, this computer is
as Star Report Bio to London is willing to pay people $4,500 in
oh my God. You guys see the lag? This is Charter cable. This is Spectrum cable.
across the
Oh my God, and it sucks. That's horrible. Let's see if it'll play the next time around here.
reports.
Oh, hold on, stop. Uh-oh. I saw something.
Enterprises innovation is
What the hell?
100
Hold on. Let me kill this one.
injected in the COVID-19.
Hold
on.
I want to point out something. And this is what's so creepy. This is what is so disgusting. You see this hand right here? You know that's obviously a left hand. Do you see that ring on that left thumb? Do you know what that means, guys and gals? That whomever this hand belongs to, they have zero problem sticking that hand of somebody's butt. That's what that left hand ring means. So just keep that in your mind while this thing loads up. Come on, let's do it.
As Star reports, the company which owns Queen Mary Bio Enterprises is $100 inject in the COVID.
All right, you know what? Basically, they're giving up $4,500 to any poor soul that's broke and that's somewhat healthy and willing to inject your healthy body with this dirty virus. Okay. This is really upsetting me. My computer is running extremely slow. I don't even know if I can do what I intended on doing because, yeah, this damn thing's slow as hell. It might be time for an upgrade. Once again, that's not, wow. Hold on, guys. Hold on 1 second. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, this is an off day, y'all. I'm having terrible difficulties trying to maneuver.
Just go to the moon. Yeah, there'll be a day when AI takes over and it'll make us their pets. Whatever God is not luck. Hi, I'm Neil.
Okay. The only reason why I'm bringing Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson into the conversation at this point is because the scientific approach will be basically elevated. I want you all to seriously understand something. Religious faith and perseverance and integrity is being challenged right now. Right now. Hold on. Churches changed the way they conduct communion due to corona. So much for protection of spirits when there's a physical pathogen about, huh? The Archdiocese of Seattle, Washington, which experiencing one of the most serious region. But at any rate, hopefully this will help them, keep their hands off of little boys. Oh, and look at this, a little picture of a dude, no glove. No telling where that hand been at. Get back
to answer some of your deepest, most pressing questions. Thank you. Does that work? Yeah. Okay. Have you really thought about what it would take to fake a moon landing? Because the rocket did launch. We all saw the rocket launch. Okay. So there's hardware there. They're like office buildings of blueprints for the design of the Saturn V rocket. The hundreds of engineering hours that went behind this and the records of those designs. If you wanted to fake the moon landing, you would have to fake all of these documents.
Yeah, like the government hasn't been known to fake documents. Oh, I'm not even interested in that aspect of this. Hold on.
A living hell. In fact, I live in New York City, where in our harbor we have the Statue of Liberty, and there she is holding the Declaration of Independence, and her left arm and her right arm is the torch. If you melt the water ice that's on land, the ocean level will rise to reach her left elbow.
I have no problem with that, Mr. Tyson. New York needs a good cleaning out anyways. A lot of those hate-filled people.
So that takes out all of New York City and basically every other coastal city that we've spent thousands of years building.
And see, this is one thing that really upsets me about Tyson's. Not Tyson himself. He's cool. He is what he is. But these intellectuals, they keep saying we. I used to say it too because I was brainwashed like everyone else. But it's not we. We were the ones getting whipped. Put that block on top of that block. But he's trying to paint this ideal that we all had this, kumbaya collective experience to where, we're going to put the statue here. We're going to put this building here. No, there is no we. The same people that are destroying this earth are the ones who are controlling the earth, if the earth is indeed being destroyed. Without the religions, without the spirituality, without all of that, and you're just left with science and tech, the world becomes a very bleak place. It truly becomes a place without hope, because there is nothing beyond what you may know or be experiencing at that moment. But there is so much more. But let's allow Mr. Tyson to continue.
Since the dawn of civilization. So life will be very, very different. So the way I look at it is, there are people who want to colonize other planets, give us an escape route. We trashed Earth. Let's move elsewhere.
Once again, it's not we that trash Earth. It's the corporate entities, global conglomerates, and basically general douchebags who are wealthy, small sombrero, and typically non-melanated. Let's continue.
And hope we don't trash that. Well, there aren't many places to move. You'll vaporize on Venus, so you're not going to Venus. Mars rotates once every 24 hours.
Hold on, Spirit just hit me. Isn't it safe to say white supremacy is the cause of global climate change? Climate change didn't start occurring until someone jumped on ships and started, taxing the other continents of resources, exploitation of the land. Don't forget, the ultimate handout was given to whom? The Oklahoma land grab was given to whom?
That's kind of interesting. It's tipped on its axis, as Earth is, which means it has seasons. It has polar ice caps, the way we still do at this moment. And there's evidence of running water on its surface. So there's a chance we could terraform Mars. My favorite word of the past few decades. You turn something that's not like Earth into something that's like Earth. So then you just move there. So here's the catch. If you have the power of geoengineering to turn Mars into Earth, then you have the power of geoengineering to turn Earth back into Earth. I don't know.
That was a lie. If you have the power to change all the pollution, change all the hate, to change all the discrimination, misogyny, to change all the heterophobia, yeah, I guess you could turn Earth back into Earth, but that's not the case. We actually do need spaceships to get the hell away from each other. Jump in your bad rocket ship and roll out. That's what we need. Because it's quite obvious that mankind is not coming together. It's quite obvious what was set in us to keep us separate. It's very strong indeed. And at this point, the handful of us who are quite serious about human dignity and human liberation seems to be taken out. I did receive a report the other day. A longtime ally is no longer with us, or at least with me. As we get older, these things happen. And it's up to you younger people to pick up the flame, the torch, if you want to. If you don't, then I guess the only reasonable advice I can give you is acquiesce to the society, find something in it, plug yourself into it, and help the monster subjugate and dominate future generations to come. Because anything short of mankind working together, first covertly, then overtly, we're just going to get more of the same. Different hats, just a change of hats. That's all it'll be, just a change of hats. But the same policies will be in place. because those policies enrich people who put the leaders in office or in positions of power. As long as this dynamic is continuing, there will be no change. Let's continue.
So if God exists, deeply religious people are certain he exists, he or it. There are ardent atheists who are sure God does not exist. My posture is, particularly in the monotheistic.
Let's be honest, he's an atheist trying to pose as, a non-atheist, because his definition of God is quite limited. There's no limitation on God. God is what God is, period. You take it or leave it, love it or hate it. It doesn't matter, because you're powerless to change it. On that, you truly are.
Theistic traditions, that God is typically described as being all-knowing, all-powerful, and all good. Yet I look back through
in all races. You got to understand all races, because that God specifically says there's a certain people that is his chosen people, and everyone else are just pawns to keep these people in line. Now, these people get out of line. He uses other nations to crush the people. The people do right. He crushes the other nations that persecutes the people. That's the whole dynamics of the God he was speaking of. But is that truly God? What is God? Who is God? Why does God need to exist? Why does God not manifest in front of us all and crush us and make us do right? That's where his ultimate point's going. Now, what kind of life would that be, where you really had no freedom of choice, freedom of will? See, we have freedom of choice and freedom of will. It's just that those people who are exercising their freedom of choice and freedom of will impacts you. It turns you into a wage slave. It turns you into a debtor. It turns you into a prisoner. It turns you into a soldier. It turns you into some sort of operative to keep the machine going, and the machine of society itself. When will we learn, humans? When will we learn? Everything in our life is based upon belief. Everything. There's been medical experiments showing that placebos, as long as the people believe, are actually effective. And placebos are basically capsules filled with sugar or some innate agent that really does nothing for you. But your belief, you can overcome, you can heal your body. If you believe, you can become wealthy. If you believe, you can become whatever you want if you believe. But the thing that stops you from believing is the reality in which you're living in. You certainly will not believe you can fly if you don't have a pair of shoes to even walk. Let's continue. That's why reparations are needed.
To history, in particular, there was I can choose many examples, but a famous example is the earthquake in Lisbon, Portugal. When was it? 1755, somewhere around there.
1755, somewhere around there. Somewhere around when slavery was popping off and cracking in Lisbon. He's going to try to paint a picture like, oh, those poor people, those good church-going people were destroyed. Those people who are the architect of the genocide of men and women and children from Kemet got annihilated. I mean, how much more proof do you need to see that God is truly just? That's why Thomas Jefferson was shaking in his boots when he says he knows God is real and he knows God is just.
80,000 people died. By the way, that earthquake took place on All Saints' Day in the morning, when most people, Lisbon, one of the holiest cities in Europe, most people were in church. Churches were the largest structures of the day. If you have an earthquake, what's the first building to collapse? It's the ones that are the largest.
And what building survives? The bank and the whorehouse. The banks and the whorehouse makes it through tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis. So if you want to be safe, find a brothel, find a bank.
The most susceptible. So people died in churches. Then there's a tsunami that basically wiped Lisbon off the map. Either God is not all good,
Or the people were a bunch of fake posers and they got what was coming to them.
if we define good as being in the interest of your health and longevity, that's a pretty simple definition of something that's good for you. Or God is not all powerful. But it's not.
I don't see how this brilliant man is coming to this determination. If God caused the earthquake, that's a pretty, huge display of power. And not only if he just, made the earthquake, the few people who were left over, that's all you got. That's all you got. And then that water comes in and washes those monkey asses off the map. Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much power. What's up, brother David? Peace and power.
Clear whether God could be both of those at the same time for that event. So I take issue with what many people say God is. But there are other kinds of ways to think about God. There are enlightened religious people who would say God is the manifestation of the laws of physics in the universe. I don't have a problem with that.
Of course you wouldn't, you atheist. The correct way would say physics is nothing more than the word of God manifesting in reality that you're observing in your natural state of being.
But is God the person who tells you who you should mate with and on what day you should?
No, that's your corrupt man. That's the corrupt man telling you that.
Eat what kind of food and is that your God? That's different from this other one that maybe just sort of put the universe into place. So I don't really concern myself much with it unless someone finds a way that any understanding of God can give me insight into making another discovery. That hasn't happened yet. There are many people who will see things happen to them that are in their favor. They say, "Oh, someone's looking over me." So that's a fascinating phenomenon when that happens. And when you analyze those situations, what you find is that we as humans simply have a profound inability to understand statistics and probability. It's really that simple. And it's a quick experiment. Line up 1,000 people and give them a coin and have them flip the coin. And if whoever gets tails, tell them to sit down. So it's about half. So 500 people left. You repeat it. 250 people left. 125, 60, 30, 15, 8, 4, 2, 1. That's a thought experiment. So approximately half the people sat down every time they flipped the coin. Half of them get heads, half get tails. There's one person that's standing at the end. That person flipped heads 10 consecutive times. So who does the press go to? The press goes to that person and say, "How do you feel about this?" "Well, I felt that heads energy about halfway through, and I kind of knew I was going to win. I saw heads on the thing." And did they interview anybody else who might have felt exactly the same way but didn't flip heads 10 times in a row because they're on their way home now?
Yeah, you never interviewed the losers, okay? And you want to talk about flipping heads. I don't understand why men of his caliber does not stress reparations. How many young black boys and girls, if their parents were economically viable, would actually visit his planetarium, would actually have the actual free time because they're not tripping on rent or this or that, to actually read his books, to actually engage in these experiments that he's talking about? Because the reality is this, folks. If you're oppressed and you're de-stressed or in stress, you have no leisure time. You have no time to do no research, and you have no time to become a scholarship or academic. The only thing you have time for is to figure out some way in your noodle to get more resources to continue on existing. Now, a lot of people, you know what? We're going to segue right now. It's like I have a, check this out. Moore's America, threat to U.S. Hold on. Black Moors, threat to U.S. Oh my gosh. I had this up the other day. I wanted to save it, but I did not because I was busy doing multiple tasks. Let me take this out. The E, I didn't see that. Right here. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center is a group that started off like, oh, we're going to expose the KKK and the haters, right? Right? Because brothers and sisters, I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum. How many times have you ever heard a Moorish individual talk about, yeah, I'm going to sling dope and pimp out women? How many times you heard a Moorish individual, speak about, yeah, I'm just going to go out and hurt people just because I can? But according to the Southern Law Poverty Center, the Moorish individual should be treated as such. Listen, members of the Moorish group and other Black Americans are taking up the ideal of radical sovereign citizen movement, right? What is sovereign citizen? Sovereign citizen is basically a point of view of political ideology stating that I am a man. I am natural upon the land. Therefore, I should not be denied resources based upon whatever criteria the society or nations is implementing. When you really break it down, the Moorish ideology is really quite sound. Within it, it allows you to be economically viable. Now, a lot of people have twisted the mindset, added to it, subtracted from it, blah, blah, blah. But if you just look at it, how they use law to obtain resources, it's right on. But it has a very scary, I guess, backstory or whatever. But on March 20th, John McGrawley, county recorder for Allen County, Indiana, I assume, came home to find a disturbing message on his answering machine. Mr. McGrawley, this is Jabra Gaines L. I'm calling you about an article about the Moorish America. It said, I just wanted to let you all know that if you ever have any problems with a member of the Moorish nations, you can call me. As it happened, McCauley, whose county encompassed the city of Fort Wayne, was having trouble with members of the Moorish nation. Okay. Let's break this down. What is having trouble with a member of the Moorish nation? Basically means, well, these black folks have the audacity to want to be treated like a human fucking being. That is all it takes. After you break down, you look at the so-called infractions they make, they're just trying to evoke the privilege of being a citizen. being a man or a woman upon the land, allowed to gather resources so you can live the liberated life, because it's ultimately about liberation. It's not about how much stuff you acquire, because the stuff you acquire requires your attention to maintain it. It's about being liberated. It's about being able to freely move, freely travel. Starting in December 2010, nearly a dozen black men, scary, had come into his office and recorded bogus documents, purporting to change their names, granting themselves power of attorney general over themselves. Oh my God, man. I hope these people are hearing me today. These 10 or dozen black men had the audacity to want to change their names. They had the audacity to want to have power over themselves. Oh, we can't have this, Bob. Harold, what can we do about this? Shogun, welcome to the show. Peace and power. You have the right as a human being to be free of the yoke of oppression and discrimination and hate. You have that natural right. But once again, if you're melanated, you try to exercise that. Oh my God, you're extremist. Oh my God, let's shut this clown down. It's good to be on there. We have to get to this point to where we see the play as they're being played. No, you ain't never heard no Moorish man or woman of any substance talking about, oh, I want to kill all this group of people, or I want to kill all that group of people, we'll take their shit. You never hear them say that. If anything, they're trying to work within the legal limits of the law to try to get you more liberation, more freedom, more chance to fulfill your manifest destiny on a personal level. That's all they're trying to do. But yet, when you engage in that, you become a threat. Well, more of these niggers try to be free and shit. Who's going to pick the fucking cotton, Bobby? That's what it's about. As long as you're out there in the field, y'all's the boss. Yes, sir. You all good. Pat him on the head and give him an extra pork chop. But the moment you're like, you know what, boss? I see a land over yonder. I'm going to take this here knowledge I got in this handful of seed, and I'm going to make something for me and mine. No, you ain't, boy. Shwap. That's what happens. The moment you articulate your plan for your personal liberation, a swap is coming on your ass. Don't believe me? Don't think it's true? Go out there in the world and try it and see how quickly you are squashed. Now, if you come up with some more Yowza Boss programming to make the slaves feel better about being oppressed and exploited, then you're going to get rewarded. They drape your ass in gold. But as soon as you start talking about that freedom liberation tip, they'll drape your ass in lead and lay your ass out. You better not tell nobody your dream, Shogun. Especially you better do a cost analysis benefit. You better understand where you're at and what you're trying to achieve. If whatever you're divulging is in the interest of promoting the ideal that you really want to occur, then you're on the right path. But if your ideals and the energy you're expressing is betraying the ultimate agenda, you best to shut up. Don't say shit. Go on unnoticed. See, a lot of us, unfortunately, are so starved for attention. By seeking out the recognition that we crave, we inevitably give up the goods. We inevitably tell too much. Like during World War II, loose lips sinks ships. That's what messed me up about the rap gangster rap when it came out. You know, when dudes are basically rapping about murdering other individuals. And do you not realize, you insane fool, if that's true, there is no statute of limitation of murder. You got to realize a lot of us are so damaged by the system we're living under that the coping mechanisms that were used to this ease the pain has become the thing. Fuck achieving, fuck overcoming. Just allow me to cope until I go up into the ground or into the furnace and be cremated. Just allow me to cope. That's spiritual dope. Coping is nothing more than spiritual dope. Because if you're living in a state of liberation, there ain't shit to have you that you need to cope with. Because you're liberated and free. But if you're oppressed and you're being exploited, well, you have to cope with the shame when they say, oh, you feel that sting? Ooh, that's your manhood being taken away from you. Cope with it. A human being can only cope with that for so long before they snap. And what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? It's entirely up to you. It's in your brain. It's in your mind. But until we understand the system, we won't ever get it. Right here. The situation never turned violent. It never does. You know, you want to look in, you know, all you students of history out there, show me a time in modern history where black identity extremists marched into a town and burnt that motherfucker down. Show me a time in history where Asian identity extremists marched into a town and started stringing up and castrating men. Show me a point in history where Mexican extremists decimated white men trying to defend whatever. Oh, the Alamo. You know, guys and gals, the diversity that we see in the race, from ebony to ivory and everything in between, is an insurance policy on humanity as a whole. I was talking to a Hindu friend. It was about 7 years ago. And I asked him, if we all reincarnated into next lives, is it possible to go from one race to the other or one sex to the other? And the brother said yes. He said that's how we all know we're all together. You could be a black man this life, Asian man the next life, Hispanic man or woman the next life, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And then I asked him, well, if that's true, then why is there so much hate? How come there's no more, like unity or cohesion if we all can basically reincarnate into whatever physical being? And he never gave me an answer for that one. We need to understand, y'all. This right here, this Satanistic ring of Saturn, pictures of Saturn from space.
Okay.
No, we're not. We're not going to do that, Google. I forgot the there's a oh gosh, hold on. Watch this. Space probe pictures of Saturn. There was a famous, there it is right there. You see, there's a 6-sided feature on a round planet. That 6-sided feature, hold on. Let me show you something. We got to go to paint for me to do it, though. Okay. New. Make sure we can all see this. Okay. Let me choose a line size. Let's go there. Okay. We're going to do the 6-sided. We're going to do the Star of David real quick. I'm drawing this out with a mouse, so it's not going to be that terribly precise. All right. Star of David, Star of Solomon, right? Now, I'm drawing a box. Don't forget, all boxes are cells. But a box has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. In other words, if I was to draw it without all that, it would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, once again, I'm drawing with a mouse, so it really sucks, but hold on. So, in other words, I start off with a 6-sided side or deal here. But when I draw 3 lines inside of it, it becomes a cell. So, what am I dealing with? If 3, 6, 9. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 6, 9. Magical numbers. You can't escape this. Hold on. Check this out. Sacred geometry. Oh my God. Hold on. Sacred geometry with numbers. That's one thing I love about technology. You know, back in the day, we never had access to this type of technology. Let's hit this real quick. Let's start off this goofy music. I don't want no copyright issues based upon their music. There's your 666 on the pyramid. Now, the important thing to remember, unfortunately, you live in a world of numbers. Numbers are everything, from the way we calculate time to the way we calculate your life expectancy. It's all about numbers. This is why I'm telling it to the young folks. Forget all the bullshit the old people are talking about. Learn your science, learn engineering, learn numbers, and use those numbers to calculate the equation for your liberation personally. Once you're liberated, then help another. But it all begins with numbers. There's no way around it. Hold on. The reason why this page here is so powerful, it's not because of the information. Sister Janice, Peace and Power, American Aboriginal, Peace and Power. It's because of the number and the significance attached to the number in your psyche that I'm about ready to show you once this bullshit ass charter loads up. That number has a meaning for you, especially when it's associated with sick people. That is the power of numbers. Without numbers, I cannot adequately stress just how powerful of a situation we're in. And there should be a number placed upon reparations as well. Reparation is a numerical value that is represented in dollars, rubles, francs, currency. And when we talk about currents, we went from one form to liquid. We went from solid to liquid because current is flowing, it's movement. And the reason why a lot of melanated people are depressed and stressed is because it moves away from them and around them. Reparation fixes that current. Reparation fixes that trend. And it allows for the participant of the program to become economically viable. So now they transform and transmute from one state of existence into another realm. And people who wants to divide that and be, no, we don't want to have no reparations. They don't need no handout. Billy Jack. Bullshit. Needs to understand. You can dam up the current for only so long, but the dam will break. And when that dam breaks, instead of the current coming down the path in an organized, it's going to be violent and extreme. And it's going to decimate the village below down the river. Whereas with reparations, it would ease the pressure, allow for the village to thrive and continue. But they would never tell you that. Because quite frankly, the people who are running the show, it's all or nothing, baby. They want the exploitation. They want the discrimination. They want the hate and the power. If they can't have all that, then they want the rest of it to burn. They want everything to burn. Now, those of you who are not in that yoke, but still get benefit from the yoke, I asked you, how does it feel knowing that you're expendable collateral damage? When the dam breaks, you're going to be on the brunt of it. Hopefully, this is giving you something to think about. Hopefully, the young and perhaps even the old will start looking at sacred geometry, looking into the meaning behind numbers, and understand your liberation is a numerical value. And it's time for you to set the bar. This will include TPIM SR Live for today. Thank you for joining me on March 11, 2020, the year of our Lord. Live your life of integrity without hate, envy, or greed. And as always, brothers and sisters, please, 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 let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace and power, unity and victory, dignity and respect. respect, liberation. I'm out.